And welcome. Tonight, a busy day at the Capitol coming to a close for lawmakers and for law enforcement who testified for and against various bills. Several failed to pass committees.
CBS 13's Julie Watts has details on one bill prompted by our reporting.
Trials are public, sentences are public, but the credits earned to shorten those sentences are not. Should victims have a right to know what a felon did to earn early release credits and when they'll be released early? Those are the questions at the heart of this legislation, and former inmates we spoke with say yes.
I'm speaking as a prisoner now.
I think the victims have the rights to know that.
I wanted them to know everything.
Every former felon we interviewed shared a similar sentiment, that victims should have the right to know what they did to rehabilitate and earn early release.
They're the ones that really need to know, right?
And that will build confidence in them, and it will build confidence in you.
Speaking from experience, Boomer Bennett testified today before the Assembly Public Safety Committee, urging lawmakers to pass legislation that would provide transparency on when felons will be released early and why.
I was released from prison a couple of times.
The committee previously killed legislation that would have made early release credits public record, citing inmate privacy.
For those reasons, I unfortunately won't be able to support this bill.
So Assemblyman Joe Patterson introduced legislation that would at least notify the DA when and why someone earned early release,
So that we can then prepare the victims and survivors and next of kin.
Placer County DA Morgan Geyer explains victims are often blindsided. Under Prop 57, DAs and victims are notified when an inmate is granted early parole, but not necessarily when they're released on good conduct or programming credits, the vast majority of Prop 57 releases. CDCR says that's because inmates released early with credits have served their full sentence as defined by law. That includes former inmates like Eric Abril, rearrested in Roseville last week for allegedly shooting an officer and killing a hostage at a busy park, or Troy Davis, rearrested for allegedly killing Kate Tibbetts and her dogs, or the man who allegedly killed a Selma police officer, or Sacramento mass shooting suspect Smiley Martin, who was first denied parole under Prop 57 due to his risk of violence and criminal activity, only to be released anyway with credits months later. He would have been in prison the night of the mass shooting if he'd served even half his sentence for domestic violence.
Mr. Patterson, I think you're on the right track.
Committee Chair Reggie Jones-Sawyer supported victims knowing when an inmate would be released early, but not necessarily why.
There's a term in the hood, snitches get stitches.
He voiced concern about inmate safety related to credits for cooperating with guards and mental health treatment.
I believe we gave you some amendments.
The bill failed to pass the committee along party lines, but the chair encouraged Patterson to come back with amendments.
I honestly believe CDCR has to be more accountable and especially transparent.
One compromise currently being considered is to simply disclose the total number of credits earned for programs and rehabilitation and the total so-called good conduct credits, which every inmate now automatically receives. We've requested interviews with the members of the Public Safety Committee, and we will be following up.